right, here we go. 5, 4, 3.
Welcome, everyone, and pull up a seat at the table. It's Lunchtime in Rome. Tonight's episode 248 is entitled Emotional Reasoning. Emotions are a good thing, right? It is important to focus on them, isn't it? How can they be used in a destructive manner? That's what we're talking about at the table this evening. So pull up a seat and join us. First-time listeners can subscribe on your favorite podcast app or watch us live or later at youtube.com/lunchtime in Rome. Visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com, and while there, you can take our relational needs questionnaire. Make sure to follow us on all social media, and it would be great if you gave us a 5-star review. Jay, what specifically is this podcast about?
Being alone is the worst. Good times aren't as good, and bad times are worse when you're all alone. Romans 12:15 says to rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. That is how you keep people from being alone, and what this podcast is all about. We demonstrate that in the first 15 minutes of the podcast, and we talk about it for the rest. So while it may not be 12:15 in Rome, we're treating it like it is Lunchtime in Rome. And Amy is back at the table. Amy Raymond, that is.
I'm so excited to be back. Thank you for having me.
It could be several Amy's, but it is the one, the only Amy.
Only 3, correct? Have we ever had a 4th Amy?
I don't think so.
Challenge accepted.
Duly noted.
And you are now in the running, or maybe the top.
Joe's been keeping track.
Okay. Because
Joe,
as far as
chime in
recurring
here.
other people.
Right.
Besides.
I didn't bring my punch card tonight, so I'm going to have to come back around.
You're probably close to 10. I mean, you probably should have brought that in.
I should have.
Maybe you could have gotten
I would get a
table.
free pen, but this one I have to give back. Okay,
You do have to
fine.
give that back.
It's fine. No
Eric's
problem.
very
he's keeping
guards
track.
and
He
jealousy.
hasn't
Jealously.
stopped. He hasn't stopped watching it since I picked it up.
No.
But Amy has sat with us at the table several times. She's actually part of the table. She's our guest procurement coordinator. And so we're happy to have her back here. What's new?
What's new?
I mean, it's been a minute.
It has been a minute. I was saying to Eric on the way while we were getting ready to start here that I don't think I've been to the pod during daylight hours. I always come in the winter months when it's dark out. So I was like observing. Like I felt like a little kid. I was like, oh, look at that house. And oh, look at those trees. And look at that landscaping. So it's been a minute.
It's funny. You go little kid. I go older lady. No offense.
That's
like
fine.
what my mother always would
We'll
be
just
like,
meet
oh,
in the
look at
middle and I'll
those
be me.
flowers. Oh, look at
Well, I didn't like
Johnsons.
take a picture of them or
The
anything. Like,
Sweeneys used to live over there.
yeah, nostalgia. So what's new? We're into summer. Girls have been out of school for a minute, and I declared lazy summer over. I was like, all right, I need you to be kids and have a lazy summer, but also like you need to do some stuff. So we're getting back.
A lazy
into,
summer for them.
for them. Yeah.
How long
not
have
for
they
me.
been out of school?
They got out on May 23rd, so it's been a minute.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So they're
Coming up on a month.
What does
Yeah.
not lazy look like for them?
I mean, just not. I mean, having some little bit of routine, little bit of schedule, like versus every day is just kind of like, whatever happens. I mean, they're productive, but I'd like to see a little tiny bit more of like, what are you gonna accomplish? What are you gonna get done? What are you gonna do? Versus just like, I'll just take the day as it comes. So somewhere in between, because
And
you
their
only get a handful of summers.
ages are 15, 13?
15 and 10.
Oh.
Almost. They're coming up on birthdays next month. So, yeah, but we're good. I mean, they're happy, healthy. Alyssa has that cold cough thing that's going around where she coughs so much that she sounds like, I mean, we go out anywhere and she coughs and I'm like, she's fine. Everyone's staring at me like, what is wrong with your kid? It's pretty awful, but it's, we've taken her to the doctors. They're like, no, she's fine. Abby's doing well. She's they're both playing cup soccer. Abby's getting ready for soccer for high school stuff starting and training. Yeah, they had a team building volleyball game today just for fun to get the team together, and she's already starting the conditioning 2 days a week. So she's in it, but we're good. Mark is good. He hates when I do this, so he's going to text me here in a second and blow up my phone, but
He doesn't like when you do the podcast?
No. He hates when he doesn't mind that. In fact, he was the one you texted me and I was like, it came through and I was like, I know what he's going to ask. And Mark's like, do it. He's like, you don't have anything going on. I was like, I know. And he's like, just go, please go.
What's he doing right now?
Exactly. Yeah. No.
Lazy summer.
He just knows that I enjoy this. But no, he's been a total rock star recently he always is, but he's just really been holding it down because I've got an event coming up on Monday. So pre-event week is always extra hectic. So he's been really helping out a ton. So big shout out to Mark. And
goes from super dad to super duper dad.
I mean, he does. And
on Father's Day week too.
I know. We're getting ready to celebrate. We're having his parents over and my parents over. Very excited for that. It'll be good times.
Aw.
Good times, yeah.
Is that? That's a Sunday, huh?
Apparently.
It is. Yeah, it kind of snuck up on me. If I'm honest. In fact, I think I only just invited everyone like 2 days ago. I was like, oh, hey, by the way, Father's Day.
Yeah, my Father's Day non-gift is going to make you guys sad.
Your
Father's Day
non-Father's Day gift?
non-gift?
Father's Day non-gift. So I had been looking at getting either a Traeger smoker or the Members Mark equivalent. And Rachel's like, look, do you want that for Father's Day or do you not want it for Father's Day? And I looked and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Why? Hashtag
Makes you
priorities.
gassy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't really eat everything. I don't know why, but like, it could be maybe the smoker I had,
Maybe the wood.
because I did have a Traeger burger from my brother and it was unbelievable. But it's still like $500 if you get the Members Mark one. And I was like, I don't know. So I said no.
I guess my question, like for the gas thing, like what would cause that?
I have no idea.
That's what I mean. Like, did you
Every time I made ribs or brisket or
So
pulled pork.
it's not the kind of meat. It's the way in which it's prepared.
Right. And more specific, I mean, like if I go to like,
I was gonna
what's
say,
it called?
Did you ever look into it?
No. I mean, yeah, but no, nothing showed up.
Yeah.
It's sort of like how I'm allergic to zinc. No, not zinc. What's a supplement people take every day?
B12.
There's a million of magnesium. I get a super dry, scratchy, sore throat. I thought I was sick when I went to the wedding in New Jersey.
Yeah.
For like a week ahead of time. Like, it was a sore throat, everything else. And I was like, wait a minute. Because I wasn't sick.
Right. You didn't feel
Just
sick. You
had
didn't have a
the sore
fever or
throat.
anything else. Yeah.
And at the wedding, I was like, I just started taking magnesium for the first time. Stopped taking it, went away. Waited 2.5, 3 years. And it was like this fall. And I bought this super duper, guy that I follow online. The one doctor who fled Ireland in COVID and went to Brazil because he wasn't going to get the vax and everything else. Simon Godek. And I bought his magnesium. Next day, I was like,
Wow.
there it is. It
Interesting.
doesn't exist. Look it up.
so weird.
Everyone's like, you can't be allergic to it. You need it. I'm like, all right, good talk.
Well, maybe it interferes with like your thyroid thing, or maybe
Who's
there's
to say?
it's unknowable.
I don't know, Dr. Brian. Keep diagnosing things. That's
Okay.
crazy. I didn't mean it like that, but it's interesting.
Brian's like, all
Like,
right.
well, what else you got? Let's talk about it.
I got this thing.
I got this,
didn't
this
mean it like
sore on the side of my
Can you
mouth.
look at this? Yeah, can you look at this rant?
Ooh, which reminds me, and I'll update now.
About the rash?
No, although Brian, I did get another wound today, and that was like the size of like a dime. No, but from the weed trimmer at the disc golf course, I almost blinded myself yesterday. A rock
I
hit
see
me
that.
right here.
Oh, goggles, safety goggles.
Well, I normally
friend.
wear them if it's like, because I was getting like little grass clippings in my eye, and then they get pulpy, and then I have to put these drops in.
He normally remembers them if he's not up on the ladder already that's leaned up against the tree trunk that he's cutting down.
So
take
in other
risks.
words, when the safety monitor's
By
around.
himself.
Right.
Yes, by himself out in the
Well,
woods.
today I
without
had
a
my
cell
goggles
phone.
on, and I got like hit here both times, and I'm like, I'm wearing my goggles.
Maybe you need the.
But then I got hit just in the arm with something, and I was like, did I get shot? Which it could be Barb in the woods taking shots at
She
me.
might be pellets.
She may become gorilla-ish.
Yeah.
But pulp, eye, shot, update,
Rash, arm.
wrist. So
Doctor.
this week we've been doing
Follow along for more.
vacation prep shopping because we're going away to St. Lucia July 4th for our 25th anniversary.
That sounds delightful.
And we did a bunch of clothes shopping yesterday, which is Rachel's, get a sweaty hug from a stranger or go clothes shopping. It's kind of the same thing.
Ooh, on that same level, huh?
Yeah. And so we did that, and it was cool. And they have the one big party night is the white party,
Bougie.
which Mia, my niece, who's helping me with the videos for the book, she was like, you go, like she thought it was like racist. She goes, it feels like something they would do like on Community or something, like where the principal would think it's a good idea
Yeah.
and then it would just
Yeah.
be terrible.
Not in reality.
But I tried on these white shorts that were so see-through, you could probably guess my PIN number. I mean, it was like, I put them on, I was like, nope. I just put them away.
I'm gonna guess no.
But we bought mosquito bracelets online, which most people say do not work. So
Are you
we
gonna try
will
to
see.
defy the odds?
Well, I figured I'll buy them now because apparently that's a bit of a problem in the rainforest.
What do they do? Give off like a frequency or something? Or
No, I didn't buy the electronic
Smell?
kind. Yeah, they just
It's like a
they-
flea collar.
Yeah,
For your
pretty
wrist.
much.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But the
there you
fact
go.
that like I was in the woods working on the disc golf course, swarmed with mosquitoes,
Yeah.
and I don't get bit.
Yeah.
Bella or Rachel walks outside, and it's like
What's your-
Barb's in the woods
They all
shooting
find
them
'em.
with
What's
a
your blood
mosquito
type?
gun.
There's something about blood type in mosquitoes
It's
because
fatty, apparently.
no. 5 years ago when my cousin got married, we went to DC for her bachelor or bridal shower and all that good stuff, and we were sitting outside at the end of the night, and Abby and Alyssa were mauled by mosquitoes. I mean, to the point where like,
Why do I laugh?
it was because maul is mosquitoes. I don't know, because they're swarming. They shouldn't be mauling. But I mean, Alyssa had welts the size of that 5-hour energy lid. I mean, they were gigantic all over her. Like, it was bad. And
she
there's
has
something
blood type.
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I'm a terrible mom because I don't know. But there's something.
I don't know mine, let
I know,
alone
I
my
was gonna
kids.
say, I don't
I'm
know
A negative.
mine,
I know
though.
that much.
I think
but
Joe's O negative. That's like the super good one.
is that the universal donor?
I don't know.
I think
It's
that's
a universal donor.
O negative.
That's what
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what
So-
the office told me.
There's something. The Michael
Was
Scott,
that-
The Office, or The Office?
Dwight was trying to pick up a girl, and she's like, "O negative, universal donor." And that's why I remember it.
That's a good.
Then he
cult-
made his blood
It's
pressure
a
go
really
up.
great cultural reference. See, TV shows can teach you things,
They
even
do.
silly shows like The Office. But yeah, there's something about your blood type that attracts mosquitoes. So we'll follow that with magnesium.
I could
What-
ask
Dr.
Rachel
Brian,
what
Dr.
hers
Brian,
is,
what do you think?
and she won't know, and I could compare it with mine,
Which you don't
that
know.
I don't know. But we're excited. We're just, it's fun. And I said I bought a bunch of stuff online. She was like, "Did you buy suntan lotion?" I was like, "Nah."
Why?
It's not. It's right by the equator. I mean, it's that's a rainforest. You can't
I
get
bought some
can't
olive-
get
You won't
burnt.
get burned.
Bought some
No,
olive
it's
oil,
not.
just
It's-
baby oil, olive oil, whatever it takes.
So, what
no.
kind of clothes did you buy? Did you buy like Hawaiian shirts and stuff?
No, I mean I did buy one. I bought a pelican shirt, which will be fun.
Nice. That'll be
A
fun.
pair of shorts, white. I bought nothing. She bought lots of stuff.
Did you end up finding something for the white party?
I did. I did find some less transparent white shorts.
Don Johnson, like sleeves pushed up on the jacket kind of look?
No,
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 Never
just a
again?
white shirt.
Okay.
Looks. I feel like I'm a 1970s barber, but literally, specifically, I should say Tony Zito, who would come in
yes.
once a week at Churchill Country Club in the locker room, and we had his own little barber shop. And if you ever said to him, "Oh, I forget what it was," he'd been in Vietnam, and if you said a certain word, I don't know, it'd probably be racist anyhow, but he would just come out swinging.
Very
But like
triggering.
he was being funny.
Yeah.
And he was like 78 years old. And he would be like, where? And he'd be like throwing punches, and he would like punch you in the chest, and you would just be like, "Oh, Tony?" Like, I don't think I could have hurt him.
That was not
He
funny.
didn't come out with his straight razor.
No, or the strap or anything like that.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
book stuff is moving forward. Excited. I'm on second round now
Yeah.
of
That is
edits.
so great.
I
So
received
great.
them last night, and it went from my content editor to my line editor. And she's a little more of a stickler. I was scolded for using quotation marks to add emphasis.
So
that I have to stop doing that.
The
How
con-
do you provide emphasis then? Or
That's what I said. Because I said, when Trey was diagnosed, we realized we were going to become those parents. So I put it in quotes.
Yeah.
What about italics?
Eyes. Great minds.
What did she say?
Well, I don't know yet. I didn't send it back to her. But I
So-
said,
That's called a cliffhanger right there, ladies.
I
and
said, what
gentlemen.
about italics? What about all caps? And I said, what about THOOOOOSE? But
What about the audiobook? Maybe you can just get it across in the
we'll
audiobook.
be rocking the audiobook.
Yeah, you will.
And then in conclusion, it's funny though, because it's going quickly, because all the grammar edits, I'm like, sure, okay, fine,
I believe
whatever.
you.
Like, I don't even have to click on these now. Like,
Yeah.
they're just done, and it's like fine. And the other things are relatively small. And we got our cover edits back. I showed the folks here at the table, not ready to share it publicly, no offense. But that's moving forward. Made a bunch more reels for promotional stuff. Ooh, real quick.
Yeah.
And I want to be very quick.
All right.
I have a good friend. In the last couple of years, we bought his CRV. Dave is his name. And
The
he asked
CRV or
me-
the guy?
The guy. And he called me yesterday because I had hooked him up with somebody else that I just met. And I said, hey, you guys should meet. And I told him about the book. He didn't know about it. And he goes, well, my mergers and acquisition firm that he owns,
Right.
he said, he goes, I was in marketing for 30 years, and that's what we merge. And I said, and acquisite? He was like, and he goes, yeah, but you know what? My business partner, he goes, and he's one of my dearest friends. He said he has about 30 years experience with Christian authors and helping promote and publish and market them. He goes, would you like me to set up a Zoom call with him? He goes, he's not in town. He's in Nashville.
You're like, nah.
Nah, pass. Hard pass.
Exactly.
But it's just one of those things.
Zero time
Whereas,
for that.
I reached out to one of my home run people for support, and they were like, "I have zero time for that." And I was like, "Duly noted, man." But then this guy falls in my lap, who was a big time rock and roll guy, and was at Berkeley in like the late '70s or whatever, and came to know the Lord. And this guy Dave is a very cut and dry, straightforward
The
kind of guy.
mergers and acquisitions guy.
Yeah. And he said, Jay, it's one of the few, he goes, miracles that I will completely attest to. He goes, he received a scriptural download. He
Wow.
goes, he can recite scripture he's never memorized.
What?
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Huh.
Whoa.
That's
The
pretty
guy's
cool.
name. It's a cool name, too.
I think that's
So I'm
wonderful.
excited about that.
Good
That is
for you.
exciting.
That's a neat
What
opportunity.
is his name? Holt Vaughn.
It's a great name.
Holt Vaughn.
Holt
That's the
Vaughn.
kind of guy that I think
It's a,
sounds like that name.
Yep. He's got
And
stuff on
would have that
Spotify.
story.
yeah, he's definitely not like a Kevin. He's a Holt.
Or Dave. No offense to Dave.
Writer, developer, and consultant for Bible curricula and devotional studies for best-selling authors and leading Christian publishers.
Got scripture downloaded to him. Interesting.
Wow.
That's really cool. Good for you.
So this week Maggie had her end of year performance
Review.
at the Oaks
Really, debut on the stage.
Joyful
mean-
Twirlers. It's pretty cool.
Big stage.
Oh, yeah.
Little
my mom
kids,
told
big
me about
stage.
that. She came.
Yeah, because Stephanie. Yeah.
Right.
Friends and family event, and it was really good. It was a great night. Maggie did really good. I was so proud of her, like how she did, and she remembered all her moves and everything, and it was awesome. I was just a proud dad. It was a good moment, and it was a glimpse into like the future of events for kids because it was kind of long. It was I think it's the latest night Maggie's been up besides when we went to the hospital when she had that reaction to amoxicillin. Because we got home at like quarter
Good
to 10.
times.
Yeah, we got home at like quarter to 10. But she had a blast, a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm just so proud. And I am off work for the next 2 days, and I
for
am
you.
so looking forward to it. I've needed it really bad.
Good
so
for you.
yeah,
I hope you enjoy those days.
I
And
did.
hope
It's
you-
impossible I
you
couldn't.
Be
Yeah.
here rather than
I
do.
I don't care how I play. I just want to get out there.
Well,
And
this golf trip is good for the soul.
yeah, it's gonna be good.
Good for you.
That would be nice.
Safe travels.
But be right.
Yeah, that would be great. I can't, unfortunately, join you guys. I am celebrating the fact that you guys are going. And,
It's 2 years in a row you haven't gone.
well, we need to do another one because I do want to do it. I just can't right now. And today, after today, it was very clear that I made the right decision, even if I don't want to. I'm being challenged and pressured in ways that I've never been, which is great. It brings me alive, but it's also draining. Every day I'm leveling up in some way, and I like that. But
What
it's
does that
a
mean?
very difficult time. I'm having to have some very big and difficult conversations, having to figure.
Whereas I say my job is I navigate awkward
You
waters.
do navigate.
Would
awkward
you say
waters.
you're navigating perilous,
I am navigating
angst-filled?
pressure-filled, complex waters right now. Nothing like
Good
know.
times.
I was going to say the president of the United States, but he doesn't. Yeah, I mean,
Yep, nice save.
but I don't. I'm probably doing more work than he is.
Well, come on.
Amy's kids during lazy summer do more.
They have a pulse,
Before
right?
during lazy
During
summer.
lazy
yeah.
summer.
They wake
Yeah.
up with a pulse, so there they go.
I mean,
They-
they're
we've
awake more
gone.
hours of the day.
But yeah, so it's just it's each day is like a concentric circle of okay, I think we have this solved, and then something changes. It's like a kaleidoscope right now. It's like a maze. It really is. And today was challenging for a lot of different reasons.
It's like a house of mirrors
Ooh.
with trap doors.
Yeah, and you
So when
have
you're not banging your head off a mirror thinking it's the next way to go, the
Yeah,
floor
the
drops
ground,
out.
yeah, the ground's
Right.
not going to be there anymore.
yeah.
Sounds
It's
real fun, Brian. That sounds real fun.
It's not fun, but like I said, it's purposeful, you know, and I really like to be living on purpose, you know, even if it's hard.
And if I may, you still have traction. You know, we talked about the one revelation that I had during Grief Share was that if you just give somebody traction in their grief, just they're getting somewhere forward. You still are getting some traction towards this great product that you're developing. Like you haven't slipped and slid mindlessly backwards. In a day you have. But you know what I'm saying? You're still getting towards the goal.
Yeah, but it's getting, I could talk to you guys later about it, but it's getting to the point where today I sat and actually thought, like, what's my next move? Because like, there's been no status quo in this, but today was a day where, like, I might need to make a decision about, a big one. So, it's
A lot.
It's a lot, but like, I keep reminding myself and saying, I heard the phrase, I would rather fly with the eagles than cluck with the chickens. It takes a lot for that eagle to fly, to get off the ground. But I don't want to be that chicken just clucking on the ground. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's a big time for me in my life, but it's been good. I also started a BiPAP, right? Like, so like a CPAP, and I've actually been, the past 2 nights, slept really well. I figured the whole thing out because, like, there's all these different masks you could try to wear. There's different variables to find. Like, I've been sleeping the same way for 47 years, so this is a big adjustment. And over the past 2 nights, I finally figured out. What's cool is I have this app that shows me how I'm sleeping. Like, I'm waking up and I'm like, I'm actually getting a night's sleep now.
Wow.
Which
you can tell?
Well, yeah. There's this one thing.
No, I mean, you personally. Like, if you didn't have the app, would you go, well, that was a good night's sleep?
You feel different, yeah.
A little bit. Like, I'm starting to get to that point, and I can't wait to see what it feels like in like a month or a couple weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's this one metric on this app that says it's a sleep event. They call it a sleep event, and that event is you stop breathing for 10 seconds or more. And the other last Friday night after I played hockey, 27 and a half events per hour. So
Whoa.
I was
Per
not,
hour?
Yes, I was not breathing for over 10
More
seconds.
than you were.
Yes,
Yeah.
for over 10 seconds, 27 times per hour. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Without the BiPAP.
Well, I had it on. And I mean, I'm like,
You hadn't trained.
I hadn't really trained
trained
myself
yourself
on
with
it
it.
right. So
It's a horrifically frightening
isn't that
number.
crazy? You stop breathing. So, anyways,
You stop breathing.
I stopped breathing.
And what happens is, I mean, it's more than that, though, because your brain goes, Brian,
Yeah.
you're dying.
Right.
And then you go, oh, okay.
Right.
Well,
right.
it's no wonder. Like, I have for a while been waking up just feeling like I didn't sleep really well last night. Well, no, because I'm struggling to
Literally
live.
did not.
I'm struggling.
That's some kind of sleep event.
The brain's like, hey, idiot, you're about to die. You should probably breathe again. So, it's been an interesting thing. I didn't really want to get one, but I'm kind of glad I did, as moving forward. And
Especially
also,
right now in this draining season.
I need everything I can get. I need
Yeah.
every ounce of
Yeah.
energy, every ounce of clarity that I can get. I also want my Abby also started volleyball on every Saturday. She's
Nice.
doing over across in Avonworth, like she did back in January. Pittsburgh Elite, that's what it is. So so she's doing that and she loves it. Lex took her this past time and they were up bright and early. They got across town, and then I get a text from Lex like, and we were an hour and a half early. Like, Lex didn't really realize what time it was. So
Better than an hour and a half late.
better than an hour and a half late.
Let's go get some breakfast.
They
Yeah,
went and
to
had
go
they went and had a
explore the
girl.
area, yeah.
They had a girl coffee date, and that was all good. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I will be interested to discuss after I get through this to go back to work. Some of the the ways that I've been emotionally challenged and some of the traumas, that you go through in times like this. I'm really interested to see who I am, and, I think we have a podcast that we talk about that kind of stuff, right?
We do. And the people that are partially responsible for this podcast are those who sit at the head of the table each week. And that would be Bethany Jaworski, Mary Lynn, Ashley, and Breaking 90. We are so grateful for that. And if you want to sit at the head of the table with them and get all of the perks that they get, which right now is being talked about at the beginning of the podcast, but there's more coming. Chris is probably working on the merch right now
as we speak.
He's like, this is really intense down here at the Center for Relational Care, Amy, but I got to work on the merch. I know he is. I know he is.
He's got his priorities in the right order.
You just go to lunchtimeinrome.com and be a paid subscriber, and you too will sit at the head of the table.
Right. You can. It also makes you eligible for all of our members only content where we do
Whatever you want us to do.
Yeah,
whatever.
nothing.
We'll do whatever. It's
We
cool.
haven't done anything yet, but
Oh, it's coming.
Suggest
yeah,
something.
It's
I don't know if we would
just
ever do
you wait.
members only content.
I don't like the idea of members only.
No.
No,
In content or jacket.
the people that made those clothes made a
I was
lot of
going
money.
there.
we'll close.
Members only.
Members only. That's why she said
well,
in jacket
yeah,
or in
yeah.
content.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a
Thank
minute.
you.
What about members only jackets?
Hey.
Might have been done, but
Well,
No,
but
not this way.
No, not with lunchtime in Rome on them.
right.
Can we all get big clocks like Flava Flav?
They
Yes.
they
He likes the idea.
They always say 12:15.
Exactly. What time is it?
12:15.
Suckers.
Boy. Well, that's it for no.
But we digress. Yeah,
Beer
exactly. Is that
all
my
night.
is that my cue?
Nope.
Nope, it's not.
So we have been talking about destructive communication patterns, and a lot of it's destructive perception patterns. It's just things that people slip into that you might be in a relationship with somebody and they're always saying you're this way or you're that way. Or more often than not, you realize there's something wrong with the person you're in a relationship with. And what you haven't realized is it's an actual thing. Like there's a pattern to it. And we've been going over them, whether it be minimizing, maximizing, polarizing, generalizing. I think that's all of them so far.
All the eyes.
You sound like
Lot-
Tommy
yeah,
Lee
lots of
Jones
eyes
right,
and
right there.
Did I?
Yeah, you know how like in his movies is like the hen house, dog house, outhouse.
That's a good one. Yeah, that is true.
Generalize and maximize.
And tonight we're going over emotional reasoning, which doesn't that sound like a good thing?
Emotional reason.
On the surface, it does.
Yeah.
But
The
it-
two words
I-
by themselves, sure.
And I
Yeah.
feel like you're alluding to something that it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
there-
we
there's
said
a
it's
but
destructive. I mean, that's given in the context of the lead in to the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So as we go over this might be for somebody you're in a relationship with, and that's good. You can be more aware of it, but you're not most likely going to be able to say to them, hey, I listen to a podcast and you have the destructive pattern of emotional reasoning. So here's what you need to do. Probably not going to work.
But
we-
I dare you to try it.
I think they should and let us know. But this could be for you. And we have had people reach out to us. And don't we, Eric? Tell them how much we love feedback.
Oh, we love feedback so much. Please give us feedback. No, I seriously, I really, really appreciate it. It helps
Email.
us so much. Email,
Message,
yeah, Facebook.
carrier pigeon.
We love
Yeah.
to be interacted with and judged.
Less so.
Less,
Well, you can judge us with a 5-star review.
You
that's,
could judge
that's
us with
great.
a 5-star
That's
review.
awesome.
That's good judgment. Constructive criticism.
Just neither.
No, I'll tell
I don't
you.
want
Feedback.
construction.
Back to the
I
original.
was like constructive. No, I don't want that. Criticism. I don't want that either. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
full transparency. Like, I love when because there's times like, I mean, it is a grind. We do this every week, and we have to carve out the time. I have to do prep work, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
work that goes behind it. Jay comes up with the outline every week, puts a lot of
amazing.
thought into it.
It's amazing.
And there's times where like I feel like I just don't want to do it this week, or like are we making an
true.
impact? And then we get somebody that makes a comment or text us privately. Like I've been texted privately by friends that listen in, or Jay will get a comment from somebody or whoever, and I'm like, man, all right, it means something, and that really does help us, and it really encourages us to keep going and make a difference. So yeah.
So thank you. Mm-hmm. And I agree with almost all of that. I never not want to do it, but I'm always like, well, I wonder what God is going to put on my heart this week because I have no idea.
I just was talking to someone last week.
With Amy's here, we could have done two things are true at the same time. We've been holding on to that podcast for weeks for you.
It's okay, I'll come back. You feel
We'll
happy.
see.
No, I just wasn't.
I don't know if I feel like doing it anymore.
We'll see after this. We'll see
do
after this
it.
episode.
I can't do all the fancy techno stuff, but
As Rachel
no,
calls it, the beep boop beep boops.
yes, that I can't. Sorry, can't do the beep boop beep.
my
boops.
job.
Not effectively anyway. I could do them.
Right.
Want them
You
to be
just did.
effective? Yeah.
You were saying.
No, I said to someone the other day. I said sometimes I feel like I'm trying to drain the ocean with a tablespoon, and I think I'm making progress, and then I turn around, and I'm like, oh man.
Still an ocean there.
But then every now and again, like somebody hands you a bucket, and you can get a whole bucket full instead of a tablespoon. And sometimes that's what the feedback is. It's a bucket to help you.
Yeah.
Because I get it. Sometimes doing the good stuff it's heavy.
Yeah. Heavy is the crown that the donkey
Wears the
wears
thorns.
when he's carrying the king.
What?
So the point of the story is this.
Something about a
if
donkey.
if you resonate with this podcast will help you quite a bit. So the simple description, whereas it seems emotional, good, reasoning, why wouldn't you? But you put them together, nay, nay. Feelings are interpreted as facts. That's the simple description. Does that resonate with you guys at all?
It does.
Very much in this day and age, everybody's feelings are their own facts, and if you go against their feelings, you're somehow in error.
It becomes the filter through which everything is. It sort of, you mentioned a kaleidoscope a minute ago, and that's sort of what it feels like. It's like if you twist it this way, oh no, if you twist it this way, oh, okay. And there's this filter through.
There's a guy that hosts a lesser known podcast, Adam Carolla, and he talks about the time his
Lesser known
daughter.
than ours.
Oh, much.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Never heard
have
of
5-star reviews.
I don't think his table's as big as ours. But
Or cool.
he talked about the time his daughter didn't make the volleyball team. And she said, oh, the coach hates me. And he's like, because she felt that, therefore that's the truth. And so the coach hated her. And then he, of course, using all facts, logic, and reason, hammered her over the head. And of course, she made the team the next year. But to describe it would be feelings are the result of emotional needs. Oh, no, this is a premise to that. It's a reminder that feelings are the result of emotional needs being met or not met. So I'm happy because my needs got met, or I'm angry because they didn't get met, or I'm sad, or I feel guilty. So we talked about this before, that if you're not aware of your emotions, you'll be manipulated by your feelings. And that's kind of what this emotional reasoning is. You're being manipulated by your feelings, and in turn, you're manipulating the truth with your feelings.
And a relationship.
That's not in the outline.
It's a very conditional way to live,
Do tell.
Well, if you're constantly evaluating your life and other people's lives through how you feel, it's very hard to put down like a concrete basis because your feelings are wild. Like they're constantly changing and subjective, and like there's a lot of people that just live in that day to day. This is how I feel right now, so this is how it is, and they expect other people to revolve around that when, for me, like, and I think we've talked about this before, but like when you base your life on principles, not like things that are constantly changing or subjective, it makes it a whole lot easier to navigate life and for other people to navigate life around you.
We're getting ahead of things.
Yeah.
No, I am. What I'm about to say. I'm not correcting you or anything.
Wow. I said a lot.
But I'm going to throw out a query, which is if somebody is always emotionally reasoning, and so something bad happens, oh, it's because you don't like me, or, I'm angry, therefore you're at fault, or whatever. Do they only do that in the negative? Like, if somebody does something good for them, do they go, oh, or something good goes their way? Do they emotionally reason like, oh, I'm happy, therefore you're awesome, you're awesome, you're awesome? Or is it just only the bad things?
I feel like Ryan Reynolds does. I don't know why I said him.
He's always on your mind.
Yeah, he
Welcome
is.
to,
I mean,
please tell me you're watching that.
What?
Welcome to Wrexham.
Don't even know what you're
don't
talking
know
about.
what you're talking about.
Wow. Okay.
We're Christians.
Yeah. What do you?
It's a show.
Ugh.
Okay.
Gosh.
Anyway.
What's it called again?
Ever heard of it? Welcome to Wrexham, the show about Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney that bought the soccer team.
It sounds
In Wrexham?
familiar.
Wrexham?
I think I've seen.
Is it like Ted Lasso?
No, it's like a
That was
documentary.
about soccer.
Yes, it is about soccer, but it is a real life. They literally went over to Wrexham and bought this soccer club and are
They're
it's-
following them around like The Office.
correct. It's very well done, but I didn't mean to rabbit hole us. But to your point, no, I didn't even know which. Oh, you feel like is it Ryan Reynolds?
Is it only
does
negative?
I think it's more discussed in the negative. Like many things, if you have a bad experience, you're more likely to talk about it than you do if you have a good one. So it may be that you may say something nice to me, I may feel good about it and project good, but I'm not going to go tell anybody. But I'm emotionally reasoning in the positive, I'm just not broadcasting it, whereas people that emotionally reason in the negative are more vocal.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of like an example. Like if I do something for somebody, they're like, oh, Jay must, if they always do emotional reasoning, they're like, oh, Jay really likes me. I'm like, no, I just feel called to love you. I actually don't care for you at all. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but that's
Right.
the truth in a lot of circumstances.
Or-
like, oh, we're not close. I'm just being nice.
Right.
Oh, I can think of some examples that should not be pod worthy, but I can think of some.
We'll leave them off the table.
We will leave them off the table.
So, feelings are confused with facts. We already talked about that. Feelings are also confused with thoughts. I just love how, see, this was in the outline from my training, and I was like, right, I don't get that. I did exactly what everybody else did.
Blanks there.
But then,
No,
but the example
said it
says a person may say, I just don't feel that you care, which means that since I don't feel you care,
You must not care.
it does not matter what you say, you don't care.
Oh.
I don't feel you care, so therefore, I think you don't care. You don't
Done.
care.
I've convinced myself, regardless
You don't
of
Nothing you can say or do is going to change my
Right.
mind.
So I feel you don't care instead of like, boy, I think you may not care, but let me hear
but
from
let me
you.
hear you out. Yeah.
Right.
Let's do
Right.
some conversation.
Prove
Let's do
me
some
wrong.
other
Let's
reasoning.
Right.
You know, here, let me-
There are man. It's hard. Those people are hard.
I mean, they're living in an alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah.
Well, and what's the fastest way to end an argument? Just agree with them. Be like, you're right. I don't care. Case closed. Bye bye. Like, I mean, you can't reason with someone who's unreasonable.
True.
I mean, you can try if you're really up for a fun night.
Well, no, but that's where these, and we'll get to that. But that's what the person gets to.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about the married couple. If the one person is always doing this, you know the other person's going, "You're right. I'm a jerk. I don't care about you." And they follow with, "I go to work every day. I do this and I do that, but you say I don't care, so I don't
it's
care."
like he's listening to us, Mark. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
Let's dig into that a little bit. No, I'm
I'm
just kidding.
teasing.
And lastly, those who emotionally are reasoning, they ascribe motivation to the reason for the unmet need.
No, I.
Amy agrees.
Well, you take it 10 steps beyond what it is. Like if you don't, like you use the example offline about if you don't call me back, you don't answer my phone call, you must hate me. I must be a terrible person. I must not be worthy of a return phone call. You must be way too busy, and you just kind of keep.
And you don't like me. You
Correct.
don't care enough
Yeah.
about me. You care
Right.
about what you have going on,
Right.
not what I have going on. Not the phone lines were down.
Yeah. Wild speculation.
So I think in all of this, you're right, Eric. It is an alternate. It is a unique reality
Sad.
in that person's head that does not represent actual real life, and
The sad
it's
part
so
is
subjective.
I was going to say the sad part is, but then I think if you're that kind of person, it does turn into your reality.
It does turn into
Oh,
reality.
it's your reality.
It makes
It's an
you-
alternative.
No,
Really?
but I mean, like,
Yes.
who's going to want to be around you,
attract
if
the,
you're
you
like
att-
that?
You attract and repel the people in your life that are going to enforce that, that reality that you're living in.
Right.
And
What you think about, you bring about.
right, and again, like as the whole time we're talking about this so far, I'm just like, man, like social media, like this age that we live in. I feel like everybody, like every social media post, maybe not every, but like there's a lot of people out there where everything we're talking about, I'm like, yeah, that's you, and it's a disease, and you're infecting other people with it. It's like a mind virus. It's like the environment, the right environment for that mind virus to fester and to spread. I'm fired up now, man.
Honestly, I'm a little nervous. I'm in like direct fire. I wrote down emotional dysmorphia. Like, people have body dysmorphia where they look in the mirror and
Right.
I am all these faults,
great.
flaws, whatever. It's the emotional
Or would it
equivalent.
be relational dysmorphia due to emotional reasoning? So I see the relationship differently,
Could be.
poorly,
Right?
because I'm emotional reasoning.
Right.
I'm being unfair with what I'm perceiving things as. So I don't see the relationship for what it really is. I'm changing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tag team back again. Check it.
Well,
Correct
there it is.
Yeah. Turns out, by the way, whoop.
Yeah, there's an M.
All right. Some people think it's whoop.
No,
Oh,
it's-
heavens. No, there's an
Gosh,
M.
no.
Jeez.
Let's not get
It's
into,
not- it's
let's
not
not get
whoops.
into the A team. Do you know there's blue in the A team van?
Blue or gray, which
That is
false. It's false.
that is not my genre.
Ugh.
Mark.
It's false.
Is he back on the good team?
He's always on
So,
the good team.
also, I was thinking of people that I know, like you're talking about the attracting and repelling. It's like the people that I have had a relationship, been in their sphere. And when you're on the good team, everybody else is on the bad team. You know what I mean? Like they'll tell you about all the other bad friends they had, or the bad relationship, or the bad cousin, or the bad whatever. And when you're on the good team, you're on the good team. Then when you're on the bad team, anything you do is filtered through and you're now a bad person, no matter what.
It's like elementary school when like one kid did something wrong and then all the other kids on the playground were like, don't be friends with him. He did blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of get everybody to gang up on or turn against. And then you find yourself caught up in like, he didn't take my pencils, but I guess if we all don't like him, we all don't like him.
Except as adults.
Which is a
So
sad state.
how does somebody get this way? Well, and this gets dark quick. Person may have suffered deep emotional trauma in childhood, such as physical or sexual abuse.
That did get dark.
Pretty dark.
Pretty
Thanks
dark.
for the warning.
But it makes sense because it's sort of like this horrific, deep level of self-condemnation. Like, I'm not worth anything.
And self-defense, because if I can control how I view things, then you can't hurt me.
But also,
I can hurt you.
Right. And also very, 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 very hard to heal from and recover from. So it's going to linger. It's not like a quick
Right.
a quick disagreement. It's something that you're going to.
And you can't say, stop it.
I mean, you
You
could.
can say that.
But then the more you say that and they don't listen, the worse it gets. To like then to your point about no one's listening to me. I can't control what you do. I can only I'm not going to say stop it anymore. I'll control me. Yikes.
Before we went live here at the table, I said, "Hey, this is a tough one. It's challenging," and I think that's also one of the reasons why I said that is all the other ones you're like, "Oh, I can work on this," but I think a lot of this is so trauma based. You know, I was talking with somebody who was in a relationship with somebody who clearly, oh boy, gosh, used a lot of emotional reasoning, and I said, "Look, you know, I just got to pray. I don't know if I should break up or stay together." And I said, "Look, whatever you do, God's going to bless you." I said, you can stay with this person and be in for a lifetime of long suffering. I said, but God will bless you and reveal himself to you through this. I said, but there are 2 years of deep therapy from starting to be okay. And I think that's the case with a lot of this. I sure hope nobody's listening to this right now. They're like, I was going to try to get better, but
I give up.
Why bother?
I'm going to double down now.
Jay, this podcast hates me. They may have frequently felt afraid, but didn't receive any help dealing with their fears. That's a lesser version of the first one.
That hurts my heart really.
Well, you think about so
I
many.
think fear is just I hate to think
It's
of
a
someone
liar.
I hate to think of someone being afraid and not I don't know. That
Not
just-
having
that
a little
hurt- that
mama
hurt-
bear to come alongside.
Yeah, that hurts my heart.
Well, can you say that again?
They may frequently felt afraid, but didn't receive any help dealing with their fears.
Yeah. Well, and I think
So it's not even removing; it's also dealing.
Yeah, because sometimes something you're afraid of is going to continue to be there, whether it's
Right. And as a parent, we can't remove it, but we can sit with them in it.
correct.
And also, again, I think that we live in an age where it can be very difficult to even recognize that you need to take action. Like we don't know our emotion. Like emotions are such a like everybody's talking about their feelings again, like we've talked about. But how do you know that you're getting to that point where you need help? Even if you are afraid, like where do you start? Like if you're afraid, where do you even start? You have to recognize it first, and
I
then
think
you
they're
have
well
to take
aware
the
that they're
steps.
afraid, but how do you? If people are afraid, it's because they're afraid. An emotional need, most likely security, but could be any, are going to not be met or taken from them, and having it not met can happen so many different ways. Whether it be like a complete, ignoring it, criticizing it, stop being afraid. You're a baby, suck it up. Hey, that's life. Fear. When I was a kid, I was in World War II. I don't know, but. So yeah, I think you're well aware of the fear, but you have no idea why you're afraid, and they may not matter because ain't nobody coming alongside you anyhow.
Well, or why you're afraid, and you're afraid of whatever you're afraid of, and afraid of admitting what you're afraid of.
And
To your
afraid
point,
that no
because
one's
no one's
going
gonna
to
help you.
right?
Yeah.
And afraid nobody will help you. So why bother?
Or that even worse, not that somebody won't help you, but they'll make it worse and they'll judge you or criticize you, like you were just talking about. Yeah,
for sure.
I should have done more with the iced decaf. It's not going to cut it for this podcast, man. Woo, this is heavy.
The person may have seen emotional reasoning modeled, which is pretty much true with all of these. Like one of their parents was that way.
Yeah.
And not only modeled, but if they're, imagine it's your parent, and obviously your parents are going to fight if one of them is doing emotional reasoning all the time. What do you think they're going to treat you differently?
No.
So when you complain, you don't think I'm a good mother. No, I want you and Dad to stop fighting. Or, Mom, did you do my laundry? Oh, you think I don't know how to do laundry? I don't
Just
know why.
a question.
Don't know why I'm doing the mom thing. Could be a dad. Does feel a little more like a mom thing, though, doesn't it? Yeah, doesn't it?
Well, but I think it.
In the
Feels-
examples that you gave, yeah.
We obviously in the examples I did, but like in all of these, this is just this is a social observation question.
Yeah.
Now, also the people that I can say to you, oh yeah, this is them. They're all women. But like I see this more difficult to be a man.
Well, I do think
Maybe with respect.
as a man though, like it's kind of the whole, well, men shouldn't have emotions anyways.
Historically.
Well, yes, but I'm saying like we tend to push, that kind of stuff down, suppress it, and I don't think that we really like a lot of guys are just kind of neutered, when it comes to their emotions. So
Well, sure, I'm not discounting that.
whereas women can be traditional and getting in trouble.
No, you're painting with a broad brush, but it's not.
Amy's gonna
but
start
there's-
crying.
No,
And then wreck on the way home because you know about women drivers. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, really. But there's a lot of truth to it, and there's a reason why.
Thank you for backing me up and not making me feel awkward.
No, I think there's a reason. There's a reason that cliches become cliches. There's a reason that stereotypes become stereotypes. It was somehow founded in
Some kernel of truth.
kernel of truth or kernel
Commonality.
of habitual behavior, whatever the right word is, habit.
Yeah.
Just the basic word habit.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I feel like I can resonate this though to like a season of my life because like I feel like this person has a high need of acceptance or belonging in some cases because like when I was growing up there was a moment where like I realized like my friends weren't who my friends were and that really hit me and like for a long time like I had a hard time like figuring out if somebody like really liked me and we were friends and like it was just really hard for me to tell because
That's a great example.
because I was like in my mind I'm like well they didn't invite me to that so maybe they really don't like me or but
That's a great example.
but like in my head or like in all reality no it's just I wasn't invited to that and that's okay because then I was invited to the other thing whatever that thing is
Yeah.
and like even like it even still impacts me today. Like there's been times, I'm at work and like somebody invites somebody to something. I'm like, why didn't they invite me? They invited them. But then like the next day, like we're cool and they, and I'm like, you're just, that's that invoice in your head, that thought that you're thinking, you're making it up,
No, that's a great example.
Yeah.
Lastly, they may have experienced broken promises, prompting, I'll believe it when I see it. Meaning the emotional reasoning person says a lot of, I'll believe it when I see it. Like your words don't really matter. What's the truth? Well, even though I feel it, it may not be true. And I think the whole thing with the lens is really what it is. Or the relational dysmorphia, that you're seeing things through the wrong lens. Feelings are feelings, no more and no less. They are not facts. Which sounds so funny, in this podcast, because I think we talk about emotions so much.
Feelings are feelings, no more, no less. They're not facts.
Correct.
That's it. Where's Chris? Come on, put it on a shirt.
See?
Or a mug. I make a real nice mug.
Feelings are feelings.
When I say I feel that, ... I'm really expressing a thought. And I may be expressing feelings such as hurt, fear, or anger. And so if so, I need to identify what the real emotional need is and vulnerably express it.
right.
So, yeah. Oh, I like that.
So when I say I feel that blank, I'm really expressing a thought. And I may be expressing, I'm really expressing a thought, and I may be expressing feelings such as hurt, fear. So I think this, but it's really I'm just afraid. I'm just angry.
So I feel
Really, I'm just
hurt, blah, 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 versus I feel that you don't love me. It's
Right.
I feel hurt.
I
Say the
feel
feeling.
a real need for respect for the way you treated me, not I feel like you hate me. I feel like you don't, whatever. You feel like you're a bad friend, or I feel like I don't matter. Instead, it's where I feel a need for appreciation. What?
I'm just thinking about this particular. It's like These are people that don't know how to use their words. They don't know how to use their emotional words.
They have no vocabulary.
They have no vocabulary.
Yeah, and they interchange words and feelings and thoughts and kind of mash them all together in like a potpourri of nonsense that you're supposed to then decipher.
Right.
And we see a lot of that, like you said, online today. And that's why I was thinking more about like the way they're raised, that nobody's coming alongside them. And it's in some ways, like, it doesn't jive because like this has been the generation of trophy parents, trophy generation. Everybody gets trophy, helicopter and snowplow parents and whatever else. This seems like it's much more from our generation, if you will. I don't really, well, kind of, but of the neglected. Nobody cares, nobody's around. Like you're left to your own. More Gen X than Millennium or Gen Z. I don't know, just an observation.
But it is interesting to have kids that something that you and like our generation. That our generation might be hurt by. And so our perception is this is something that should hurt your feelings, and to watch our kids be like, nah, that's no big deal. Like to your point, like I would be the person that would be sad to be not invited, and I'll watch my kids get not invited and be like, no big deal. I'm going to move on and I'll do something tomorrow. There's a difference. And it's interesting when you're parenting from that perspective, because I want to embrace their thought process, not put my own on it. But when you've been drinking that Kool-Aid for a while, it's a tough, it's a very intentional, a very conscious, like, don't say this instead. I don't know if that made sense.
Well, and like I can see why people don't want to like attack that situation. Or
it's easier to just put on the lens and say, you're a jerk and you don't like me.
Yeah, and not even like that though. Like from again my need of acceptance and belonging, it's kind of like let's say I don't get invited to something. Right. I don't think you're a jerk.
Well, yours is I'm a loser.
Yeah, but then it goes to like, well, but it would be embarrassing to be like, hey, you didn't invite me to the thing. And,
sure.
Because like I don't want to upset you because of my high need of acceptance. So like, it just goes to
right. It's more of an inward than an outward.
Yeah.
Lastly, rather than dealing with the hurt, the emotional reasoner makes an absolute statement instead. So, hey, this need wasn't met. Well, rather than dealing with that hurt, it's just ascribing it to the other person.
When you say an absolute statement, are you talking about always, never?
Yeah, well, you're a jerk, or you don't like me,
or just a very emphatic.
I don't matter. We're not as close as I thought we were. My emotional reasoning has told me that I don't need to deal with this hurt. It's because here's the reality of the relationship.
Right. And you're unwilling to look at it in any other way.
Right.
Unwilling or unable, or both.
Wow.
So what's the effect on a relationship? Well, accusations can fly about based not on any evidence,
right,
but only a feeling.
Yeah.
Which that's got to be maddening.
And that's the worst thing about it.
I mean, we all do enough wrong in a relationship. I want to earn it.
Speak for yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's
Mark just touched
a phantom.
I'm sure he did. He's got a long list.
It's a constant phantom moving target for whoever is in that relationship with this person. It's constant eggshells. And
then eventually a deaf ear. Like I said, like you want to tell me enough times that I don't care? I'm not going to care. Right. You're going to tell me,
Okay,
you have now manifested that reality. That
one of the greatest memes on social media is, I'll bet my husband's cheating on me. And then it's like guys just being complete idiots trying to do
They're thinking about the Romans doing whatever.
Right, or whatever, or disc golf. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But, an emotional reasoning, well, he's not with me, and so therefore he must be doing this, and this. And meanwhile, he's just being a complete, utter moron.
Yeah. Right. That's a great... for anybody that's seen that meme, that's a great visual representation.
That is one of my favorite memes.
Relationships will be dominated by fear and mistrust. And Eric, on the outline, can you eliminate 5B?
Sure.
Because it's a copy and paste error. The other person will be left frustrated and often shut down.
Oh.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted just talking about it.
I was just about to say, I'm not even doing it right now, and I'm
We're going to have to perk this thing back up at the end. And you're not going to like, I don't even like it. Overcoming emotional reasoning. Accept the truth that feelings have their place, but they can't take the place of truth. Sure. That'd be great.
Just accept it.
Yeah.
Change approved.
just get it.
Dime-Eyes.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
You're welcome.
That's from a TV show called Cougar Town.
Ever heard of it?
Notice incidents when emotional reasoning has been allowed to take over. No chance. Allow your partner to talk to you about this. Good luck. Take wrong thoughts
It didn't
captive.
say. Wait. It didn't say allow your partner to talk to you about this civilly. It just said talk. So
Let
I mean,
him talk.
whatever.
Let him talk.
But then also allow yourself to listen to your partner talking. Nope.
There's just no chance.
Just kidding. Move on.
Take wrong thoughts captive and think about the true responses. I swear the person mailed this in. They're just like, yeah, it's never going to work. I got to finish this outline. Bang, bang, go.
I was required to have 7 bullets and 7 done.
So the example, your partner is late getting home. Your reaction is, I just know he or she is with someone else. The consequence of the reaction, accusing, attacking, angry, resentful. Renewed response, there's probably a good reason for their delay. With more truthful thinking, the response to your partner upon, that's the whole thing. I thought the quote continued.
That's it. That's the tweet.
There is probably a good reason for their delay.
Period.
With more truthful thinking, the response to your partner upon their arrival could be, I get really concerned when you arrive later than expected. Dare I say, you might say, I have a huge need for security, and when you don't get home on time, it makes me go a little bit nuts. And I
Right.
would love it if you give me a phone call.
That's
Right.
something you and Rachel had to work through,
Oh, we most certainly did.
and it's been all better.
Yeah, 25 years later, we've banged it out pretty good.
Right.
We're pretty good with that. Hey, here's something. So if you suffer from emotional reasoning, we are with you, and we will come alongside you. And I think the one thing that's not on here is if you, in all cases, if you have had trauma, gosh, you got to go get it looked at. I
Yeah.
mean, it's worse for your health than just about anything your doctor can help you with. And so I would encourage you to begin that process, to whatever degree, do that. I want to transition very quickly before we wrap it up to a phenomenon that I have noticed in the last 10 years or so.
UFOs.
No.
Bigfoot.
UAPs and no. Also true. Which I listened to a very interesting podcast today that blew my mind a little bit, but that's not what we're talking about right here. And it is in the adolescent / teenage to even early 20s culture. Dating doesn't exist anymore. Is that a fair statement?
I've noticed similar things.
They have boyfriends and girlfriends, but you don't go out with a girl and be like, hey, that was cool. You want to go out again? Nah. Like, you don't date different people.
I think all I feel like all you do is just talk. People are talking.
Well, actually, from what I've noticed, we're talking.
Yeah.
And then,
Abby's rolling
like,
her eyes
after
right now.
it's been clearly apparent that you have been, with each other for a long time. Hey, just want to let you know, we're dating. Yeah, no crap. Like, I saw it.
She's been to our house 5 days this week.
We
I
saw
figured
it.
you were.
We figured 3 months ago.
How many meals are you going to have together before we realize we're putting this on a late?
Yeah, you put a ring on her finger.
And I'm not
kidding.
just speaking of my children. I'm speaking of, the
Right.
kids that I know in the community stuff.
Kids these days.
Like, you got to want to date them. Like, you have to want to be their boyfriend or girlfriend to go on a date with them.
Uh-huh.
Like back in the day, it was like, well, I'm going to go on a
I
date
see
with
what
you
you
and just
mean.
see what
Oh,
you like.
yeah. You have to label it before you. I see what you're saying.
Like,
Okay, gotcha.
first date,
Yeah.
didn't like this date, done. No,
All I
it's-
did in high school. But I mean, there's none of that now, ... it seems. So I don't know if that's something we want to talk about in a future podcast or not dive into.
So that's not really related.
Has
to
nothing to do with this. No, I'm
Okay.
trying to bounce it back on.
It was
We
a
left it in a
hard
really dark
pivot.
place, and I wanted to get our brains back
I
into
see.
it a little bit. That's
One more
right.
time, do I
It's
hate
the brains thing. But
Well, I think that
like
would be.
I actually may or sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that would be one where we might bring on a younger person that would be able to.
Can we have the Abby and Abby podcast? Your Abby, my Abby.
Whoa.
Oh, all the Amy's, all the Abbeys.
Something like
I'm
that.
not against it.
I'm not against it.
I just want to
It'd
say
be fun to bring Ethan and Joe and Ben.
What do you got against?
What do you guys
girls?
think about dating? Well, I mean,
And Abby. So then maybe like
Ben
I
would
don't
be
know.
the
two
best.
separate ones. Ben would be the best. I said to somebody recently, I said, why don't you go out with so-and-so? And they're like, I don't really think so. It's not anybody here at the table knows. And I'm like, I don't care if you date them. I'm like, go out with them. Take advantage of the fact that they like you. And then just go out once. What I'm saying is get back out there. And they're like, that seems rude. And I'm like, It is.
I mean, it's not the
but
kindest
you never
thing
know.
you could do.
You never know, though. Like, that
Right.
was
You
my
could have
thing.
a great time.
You might have a great time. You
What
might
if?
not.
Yeah.
What if?
Right.
Yeah. But yeah,
What
it wasn't
if?
very nice of me. But what are you going to do? They didn't take my advice. Nobody ever does. Nobody ever does.
Oh, that's because they don't like you, or you don't like them, or whatever.
That is true.
That's a fact.
That is true. If they don't
That is
take
a
my
feeling
advice,
and a
they think I'm an
fact.
idiot.
100%.
And they don't respect me.
Totally. 1,000,000%. Good to go?
Yep.
That is it for episode 248. Join us next Wednesday live at 8:30-ish as I continue to move away from my microphone just to infuriate everybody.
She
Everybody
falls
now.
off her chair to the
Everybody.
right, like goes
Anybody?
all the way across.
Are we done with the microphone? I've lost my place. Between now and then, please give us a like or 2 or 3 and some feedback, or follow us on social media and visit us at lunchtimeinrome.com. While there, take our relational needs questionnaire. It's really fun to do. Please do it. You'll learn a lot about yourself. Thanks for joining us at the table for Lunchtime in Rome. Adios.
See you next week.
Goodbye.
Listen for the drops.